The Hart Trophy race is as close as ever with only 5 games remaining for some teams. We have 6 contenders that I believe have conversation to be at least in the finalist for the Hart Trophy nomination. From Nikita Kucherov revitalizing his career as a top 3 player in the NHL, to Connor McDavid turning around the Edmonton Oilers season from being last place in the NHL in November, today we break down the Hart Trophy nominations. So before we start talking about who is in the finalists and who do I think should win the Hart Trophy this year, because the race is as close as ever. I cannot remember a time where the race has been this close going into the end of the season, and that's when you have to ask yourself the question, what is the MVP? What is the Hart Trophy? What is it? Some people value team success, and in that case, Artemi Panarin should win, right? Because the Rangers are in the running for presidents. Or is it the most valuable player to a team this year? Which, to be honest, maybe that's Matthews, maybe that's Sidney Crosby, because the Penguins are not good. But because he carried that team throughout the year, they're in playoff contention. Look at Austin Matthews, potentially 70 goals this year. The parallels between all these players are different levels of what you see as the Hart Trophy nomination. What do you think the Hart is? To me, the Hart Trophy nomination is the most valuable player this season. And I know you're going to start thinking that's what the MVP is. The NHL standard on the MVP switches from team success to player success to player leading a team to the playoffs. Every year, I feel like the criteria is changing and it has to stop. Let's take a look at one of my favorite Hart Trophy winners, Taylor Hall. Taylor Hall took a team of the New Jersey Devils back in 2017 and led them to the playoffs. And that was not supposed to happen. And that's why he won the Hart, because he was the most valuable player that season. McDavid was great, don't get me wrong. McDavid was amazing that year. Matthews was starting to score 40 goals that year. The Pittsburgh Penguins went on to win the Stanley Cup that year because led by Sidney Crosby. But because the most valuable player to a team that should not have made the playoffs, but made the playoffs, that is the structure they went with. And then it changed. The structure that they're looking at now, I believe, is who is the best player in the NHL. And at that point, it's just going to be McDavid winning it every year. Because McDavid did turn around the season this year. He did turn around the Edmonton Oilers season as soon as the knob blocker came in and led them to the promised land. They now potentially have home ice going into the playoffs, but Nikita Kucherov has more points, and Matthews has more goals, and Pasternak's right there with team success. So who really deserves it, and who do I think will win it? Here we go. I've broken them up in 6 different players in 2 different categories. First, we'll begin with the dark horses, who I believe will not be a finalist, but definitely deserve some votes to be a finalist. And at number 6, I will give it to your captain, my captain, the country's captain, Sidney Crosby. Sidney Crosby led that Pittsburgh Penguins team, which was at the bottom of the league. Tristan Jarry was okay, but now he's going through a slump. And at 37 years old, what more do you expect from Sidney Crosby than for him to score 40 goals and having another over point per game this season? And if you look at point systems, you're like, he's only like 16th. Team success and value to a team is why I think he's number 6. Without him this season, I really think the Pittsburgh Penguins would be in the running for Macklin Celebrini. But now with the Flyers falling off, the Capitals struggling a little bit, and the Islanders struggling a little bit, the Penguins have a shot at either getting a divisional playoff spot or a wild card spot, and it's all because of Crosby. At number 5, I will give you David Pastrnak. David Pastrnak with the Boston Bruins has been lighting the lamp in offense, and he's taken a step forward defensively to lead the team in another presidential race. Again, David Pastrnak is on pace for 51 goals this year, and to think about it, saying just on pace is a bit scary, because that will put him just on par with a guy that everyone thinks is a finalist, but to me, he's not, and that's Austin Matthews. Austin Matthews on pace for 70 goals. He might hit it, he might be just shy, but him and Pastrnak, I feel like both are the same amount of value to their team. Pastrnak has been very good with the absence of Patrice Bergeron as well as David Krejci. Austin Matthews doing what he does every single year, and we can't ask much more from him with almost 70 goals. Nylander taking a step up, Marner taking a step up when he's not injured. I think they're almost on the same tier, but they just missed the top 3. And now we come to what you've all been thinking about. Who will be the finalists if Matthews is out and Pastrnak is out? I hate to break it to you, but Nikita Kucherov, Nathan McKinnon, and of course, Connor, McDavid. Those three are the three men that I think will be the finalists, with McDavid dragging his team back into a playoff picture, potentially home ice. Kucherov literally being the only productive player for the Tampa Bay Lightning for a long time this season. And Nathan McKinnon finally looking to clinch his first MVP. This race is way too close for comfort. There's 5 points separating Connor McDavid, Nikita Kucherov, and Nathan McKinnon. Now, to be fair, Connor McDavid is 5 points behind, but since November, he has been the best player in the NHL. Statistically, analytically, whatever you want to look at, he has been that guy. Nikita Kucherov started out really hot, hasn't really slowed down, but he's kind of plateaued. And Nathan McKinnon, since March 1st of 2023 to March 1st, 2024, he's been the best player in the NHL statistically as well as analytically. So who wins it? I think that's up to what they think the MVP is. And that goes back to the argument of, to me, it's team success and the most valuable to the team. And honestly, I can definitely see Nikita Kucherov winning his second MVP, because even though the Tampa Bay Lightning has been very good this season and the team is structured very well, with Andrei Vasilevskiy being out and they're running Jonas Johansson, Kucherov was that guy to step up. And I think he deserves it. McDavid just continues steamrolling like he normally does, and McKinnon, with Gabriel Landeskog's injury, he also stepped up. So to me, I think it's Kucherov versus McKinnon. And even though I don't like giving the MVP to the guy who has most points, because I want to see a guy have 2 trophies, but I just don't like giving it to the guy with the most points because I feel like that's not the most valuable. But this year, in this instance, Nikita Kucherov will be the NHL Art Ross as well as Hart champion. Will they win the Stanley Cup? I don't think so. I don't think he'll have another Conn Smythe under him, but he will be walking away from the NHL awards with 2 trophies. Let me know what you think. Comment down below if you think that I'm wrong. Do you think that Crosby should be in the conversation? Do you think Artemi Panarin, who I didn't even speak about, should be in the conversation because of the Rangers' success? Let me know what you think. Thank you.